What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage, and welcome back to Community Fridays. Joker from the Discord group posted a deck. He saw Gothmom's Konosuba deck and said, "Hey, I want to do something. I want to do something as well for Konosuba." So he said he hit up one of the Pittsburgh Weiss boys and refined this deck and posted it, and we're going to take a look at it today. It's called Devin's Recipe for War Crimes and Misery .deck. What the hell, dude? I love the title already, but anyway, let's get into it. It's very similar with a lot of the cards that were in Gothmom's one that she posted, but it is a completely different Climax combo setup and everything. But obviously there's going to be overlap between Konosuba. It has a lot of good cards. So let's just jump right into it. Obviously we have Powered Up Explosion Magic, one copy of. It's a 3/2/9/5, 500 power for each of your other adventurer or magic characters, which would pump her up by 2k to make her an 11/5. Very nice. When this is placed on stage from your hand, choose up to one character in your hand with a level lower than or equal to your level. Put it on any position of your stage, and this card gets plus 2k power till end of turn. That pumps her up to a 13/5, first off. But you also get to summon 2 level 3s for the price of 1. That's just really good value in general. Which is very useful for her last effect because you do have to have a good bit of stock. When this card attacks, you can pay 3, pitch 2. If you do, burn for 5. So there's a lot of shit going on with this. First off, she gets big for like no fucking reason. She doesn't have to reverse for the burn, because you're paying an exorbitant stock amount and everything to begin with to burn for 5, but it's one of those things of she's buffing up like she would have to like fucking reverse, and she doesn't. It's just really cool. Next we have Union, if the thing will actually pull up the card. I was doing this a second ago and I was testing it out, and it just, I don't know. Greatest Mage Union, definitely my favorite. One of my favorites from Konosuba between her and Darkness. It's a 3/2/9k. If your waiting room has 2 or less climaxes, this gets -1 level while in your hand. So early play, if you have 2 or more other adventure or magic characters, this gets 1500 power and character encore, making her a 10/5. And when this is placed on stage from your hand, you can heal the top card of your clock to your waiting room. So early play, healer stays around because of encore, and she's big. So very good. I definitely feel it's a 3 of. But we also have this particular mesmerizing Water Goddess Aqua, which is another very good early play. If the number of your Adventure Goddess Axis characters, I'm just going to say like if the number of your characters, because it covers everything that's in the deck and for the entire set. So if the number of your characters is 4 or more, this gets -1 level in your hand. During your turn, if all of your characters are Adventure Goddess Axis, this gains 2k power, making her a 3/2/11k. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard 1 card. If you do, put the top card of your clock into your stock. So definitely a lot of good early plays here. This is a recurring thing. Why won't it pull up the cards? I don't understand. To the Crimson Demon Village Aqua is a 3/2/9k. It works with Protection of a Goddess. That is the pants trigger that doesn't want to show for some reason. I'm having to hit all of these twice for some reason. I don't understand it. But it's a 3/2/9k, 500 power for each of your other Adventure Goddess characters, making her an 11k. Heal 1 on play, and on attack, if you have the pants trigger in play, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, put the 2 cards from the bottom of your opponent's deck into his or her waiting room. If there's no climaxes amongst those cards, burn 1 twice. That's actually kind of crazy. It's one I don't see as much. I typically will see this level 3 Aqua instead, but that's really cool. I actually like this as the top end. Like a lot of times you're like, I'm going to make you mill the bottom cards of your deck to burn you for a certain amount, but this is like, no, we're just sending 2 and we're trying to burn you twice. So that's really cool. But then at the same time, if you make your opponent mill a climax off of that, that's still a win, like to me. Next, we have 1 copy of this particular Aqua because we don't run the climax combo for the last effect. It's a 3/2/10k. Your opponent can't play backup from hand with battles involving this. And when it's placed on stage from your hand, you can pay 1 stock. Make your opponent choose 2 climaxes in their waiting room, return all other cards in their waiting room back to the deck, and shuffle. So good decompression. I feel is definitely, it's expensive, but it's the card itself is expensive. The effect isn't, but it's a mandatory one of if you're trying to go for that. That is it for the 3s. We're actually very level 3 hefty on this, but it's kind of understandable with all the early plays and shit that you have. So that is definitely really cool. Next, we are getting into the level 2s. We have Magical Academy Field Trip Aqua is a 2/1/75. When this card attacks, if the character facing this card is level 3 or higher, it gets plus 6k power, making her a 13/5. So once again, trying to snipe out, like, you're playing just as many early plays, but you're also trying to, like, get over them. So we're going to see if we can just, eventually get the card effects to pop up here. 2/1/55, Menacing Pose Aqua. Looks like she's just throwing a tantrum. Assist, all of your level 3 or higher characters in front of this card get plus 2k power, which is very, very nice considering how many early plays you have. And then an act of resting this card. Choose a character, it gets the ability till end of turn. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, you can put that character on the bottom of your opponent's deck. Some very nice removal, that's for damn sure. That is going to be it for the 2s, unless there is an event in here. We'll go ahead and talk about it since it's level 2, might as well, as long as the card will actually come up. Seizure of Private Property is a blue level 2 3-cost backup event. Put all of your opponent's stock into your opponent's waiting room, and at the end of the turn, your opponent puts the same number of cards from the top of his or her deck into the stock, which is just kind of crazy. Like it's buns for luck on your opponent's turn, but you get to make it so, like, if your opponent's trying to, like, build up to a certain amount of stock to pay for, like, say, imagine like Gura from Hololive, where you want to play as many Guras as possible and you need stock to be able to play any copies whatsoever. Like, just being able to just go, nope, get rid of all the stock that you've, like, saved up and everything, and just be like, no. It's very nice to be able to do. And that was 3 copies of that. So to the level 1s, the other climax combo of the set is going to be off of this Megumin. Sentiments Towards Explosion Magic. Megumin is a 1/0/45. During your turn, she gains 1,000. And when teasing, which is the salvage, it was the salvage trigger, I had to make certain, is placed on your climax area. If you have another adventure or magic character, this gets the following 2 abilities until the end of your opponent's next turn. First off, when this card attacks, you can pay 1 to what people call Twin Drive. You get to perform your trigger check twice. And then it gets the other effect. When this card is frontal attacked, you may return this card to your hand. Which is just all levels of shenanigans. This is very similar to another deck profile. I don't know if it's going to be out by the time this video is out, but there's a Subaru from Hololive that does something basically the same effect, and it's just very nice. That Subaru ends up being able to get bigger overall with stats and everything, but it's basically the same thing. It's very cool. I definitely like that as a climax combo now. 1 copy of Shaken Megumin, which is a 1k backup, but when you use the backup, you can pitch 2 cards to make one of your opponent's characters with a level higher than their level, put it into their waiting room. You get to be able to, like, is anti-change at level 1, just very nice. 2 copies of a card that, I'm sorry for the, 1/0/35, Sightseeing in the Crimson Demon Village Aqua. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose one of your adventure goddess characters. It gets plus 1,500 power till the end of turn. It also has, on attack, you can pay 1 stock to do the Twin Drive effect, to perform trigger check 2 times. And that's just really good to have, considering you got, like, pants and salvage. Typically, I like Twin Drive in a deck focused around, like, the choice triggers or standby more than anything. But you do get some decent value off of these as well, I guess. So I can see it working out. This one, I actually really much like this Darkness, because this just looks really good. Beauty in a Yukata Darkness is a 0/0/2k. When this is placed on stage from hand, you may put 3 cards from the top of your deck into the waiting room. But it also has, when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you can pay 1, pitch a climax to salvage back a climax from waiting room. So this is the climax swapper, which is really cool. I think this is the card that I was thinking of from the last video, where I know Konosuba had, or the one other Konosuba deck, I know they had a swapper. I just couldn't remember who it was. Then we have 1 copy of Reason to Turn Down Megumin. Turn down for what? It's a 0/0/25. It's very simple. It's just an on-play. You get to pay 1, pitch 1 to search your deck for any character added to hand, basically. So really good to have a drop searcher. Is this the same one? Nope, it's a different one. It's a 0/0/2k, Sightseeing in the Crimson Demon Village Megumin. When this is placed on stage from your hand, I thought it was like 2 different arts for a second. You get to send an adventure or magic character from your hand to your clock. If you do, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck and choose 1 card amongst them, add it to your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. Very nice. 3 copies of this particular union, which is like a double rare, Faith in Comrades Union. It's a 0/0/15. When this is placed on stage from your hand, put 2 cards from the top of your deck into your waiting room, and this gets plus X power till end of turn, which is 1,000 times the number of adventure magic characters you milled. So she can become a 35. At the beginning of your opponent's draw phase, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is level 1 or higher, you may return this card to your hand. And you definitely have a high level of like level 1 and higher in here, or a high count, I should say. So I can see the effect proccing a bunch of times. It's very nice. 3 copies of this very fun Megaman in Union to the Crimson Demon Village. So 0/0/15. It's a Brainstormer. When a climax is placed in your climax area, if that card's trigger icon is a salvage, you get to pick a character and give it +1 soul till end of turn. And it has a Brainstorm of pay 1, rest this card, and mill 4 for each climax revealed. You get to salvage back a character from your waiting room. So another double rare. And I know Konosuba definitely has some pricey cards. I'm hoping that's not too terribly pricey. We did venture a little bit from the Megaman and Union agenda with a To the Crimson Demon Village Wiz. So 0/0/15. If you have 2 or more other adventure magic characters, this gets plus 1,000 power. When this is put into your waiting room from the stage, you can discard a card to look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 level 1 or higher card amongst them. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. Which is very similar to another Megaman I think ended up having to get errated to also have like an on-death effect. I think it's like very much a good card. I remember there being like a lot of issues with like the errata, to which I think this is another one of those cards that got errata. Don't hold me to this. It might not have been this card. It might have been a different card. Board Game Megaman is a 0/0/1K. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you get to pitch a climax to salvage back an adventure magic character. Like I said, I can't remember. This might be, if this is correct, I'm hoping it's the correct version. But I want to say this and like another Megaman had to get errated. Okay, so I'm not certain if this is on play or on death. I just don't remember. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may move this card to an open position of your center stage. If someone knows if that's the correct effect or not, please feel free to comment below. I thank you very much. Covered in Snot Aqua is a 0/0/15. When this becomes reversed in battle, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there is a level 2 or higher card amongst those cards, you may put this into your stock. Very nice card. 3 copies, but does look a little nasty. And lastly, we have 2 copies of Soul Salvation Aqua. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you get a top check if it's one of the 3 traits. Add it to hand, discard a card, and on play you get to pay 2 stock to return all cards in your waiting room back to your deck. So you get to refresh just by paying the stock. Very, very nice, and that is going to round out the deck because that we talked about the event. 4 copies of Teasing, which is the 1K1 salvage trigger for the level 1, and 4 copies of Protection of a Goddess, which is the pants trigger. And Aqua just with the face of like, the fuck did you say about me? Anyway, we called you useless. Anyway. But yeah, no, that'll be it for the deck. Once again, I can definitely see war crimes being done with this. I'm just going to call it right now. But I very much like the deck. I thank you very much for posting it in the Discord, Joker. It is greatly appreciated. Shout outs to the Pittsburgh Weiss boys as well. Really love watching like streams and everything that they do. It's really cool. If you want to post your own deck profiles as well, feel free to join our Discord. Link will be in the description. You can go to the deck list submissions tab and post your deck profiles in there as well, if you want to. If not, hey, thanks for stopping by to check out the deck. Just go check out the Pittsburgh boys. They're really awesome. Thank y'all very much for watching, and we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.